I can't even see where I'm going. Rather than cuff and shackle me and allow me to walk to my death with dignity, they are dragging me through town, towards my doom. All I can do is watch the world pass me by. Literally. Maya appears to be a cliche medieval town. The houses are made of brick with tile roofs, and the cobblestone is the material of choice for the streets. People bustle about in fantasy level attire. While some people appear to just be boring looking peasants you'd expect to see in the past, some look as though they jumped right out of a fantasy novel. Dramatic capes, robes, and armor adorned several people, though I couldn't quite discern why they looked so much better than the average person. Perhaps they were nobility. Behind me, my cellmate was being dragged along as well. "I'm James," I yelled to him. "Since I'm dying here, I just need someone to know my name, to remember me by." "1, I'm dying too, you idiot. 2, I'm Avis," he said back. Well, barked would be more like it. Every word that comes from his attractive mouth is sarcastic. God, why is he so attractive and rude all at the same time? For the first time, I was able to get a good look at him. His clothing is quite different from everyone else in town. His pants appear to be quite well made, perhaps made of some kind of leather. I'm not a fashion expert, so I'm not entirely sure, but it's definitely a durable fabric. His top seemed to be similar material, but white rather than the dark brown of his bottoms. Strapped to both of his legs are sheaths designed to hold a smaller blade, perhaps a short sword or a knife. His gear is very well made, but clearly worn. He himself looks worn, perhaps some kind of adventurer. Are there adventurers in this world? If so, I'm assuming he is one. "Avis, I will remember your name. I promise." God, you're so dramatic. Just stop talking. He groans as he just lets his body be dragged through town without any effort to resist him. Finally, we reach our destination. They drag us up on a wood platform and strap us up to the gallows. It's clear that these gallows have seen some action. They are quite beaten up. I guess executions are normal here, which would explain the gleeful look of the crowd that stands before me. A man cloaked in pure white robes steps up between the gallows and walks towards the onlookers. He slowly lowers his hood and raises his arms. A man with a full head of gray hair and perfect skin stands there. Unlike the rest of the people around who all look slightly sweaty or dirty, this man is perfectly clean. His gray hair doesn't match his appearance, which looks much younger than what you would assume of someone who has a head of gray hair. "Grace be unto you in the order which you follow," he belts out. "Grace be unto you in the order which you follow," the crowd recites back to him. Just as the saint approached Tabathia and the gods struck down that unholy city, so shall we too strike down those who forget his way, who forget his words. He who tries to walk in the face of the saint and the gods and defile them. Before us are two sinners, one who was unclean and sought to be cleansed but could not be. In return for the kindness the order granted him, he slaughtered those good men and women who sought to cleanse him of the dirt that lie upon his soul. I turned towards Avis, his face blank. What does that even mean? Unclean and sought to be cleansed? The slaughter part is pretty straightforward, but everything else, not so much. The other attempts to walk alongside the gods. While there are many in this land who possess power and gifts granted to them by the gods, there are those who attempt to surpass those gifts and walk side by side the gods. That man is one of those people. He attempted to destroy the glorious city of Maya and one of the other 7 sisters. He failed, for no man can walk alongside the gods except for our saint. For this he shall be put to death. Rise up and glory to our order. The man raises his hands towards the sky. Everyone in the crowd did the same, and in unison they sang, "Glory to our order." My eyes scanned the crowd, hoping that I would at least see someone who might think this is obscene or barbaric. But I didn't. Instead, I see a bunch of gleeful people staring up at the gallows as if some fantastic spectacle was occurring. Except it wasn't. It was the execution of 2 people. One of those people I know for a fact sure is innocent. Me. I'm innocent. I didn't try to destroy this city. I swear I didn't. Good boy. The saint has already found you guilty, and the saint knows. The old man in the cloak turns towards me. I look at him confused and turn towards Avis, whose gaze was now on me. Apparently I hadn't just thought that. I said it aloud. I was pleading for my life and didn't even know it. Rather than feel sympathy, the crowd just laughed at me and continued to chant. I don't want to be here anymore. I just want to go home. My father was dead, but at least my head wasn't on the chopping block. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home, I muttered to myself over and over again, and hope that I can somehow wake from this dream. As I continue to pray for a miracle to myself, the crowd gets louder and louder as they chant. Boom! Almost like a whisper in the wind, I hear a female's voice echo above the crowd. It doesn't sound like someone is standing among them, or even near them. but like it was literally being carried by the wind. I was so lost in my prayers I didn't even notice the executioner had walked onto the platform and stood between us. As I turn towards him, his head and half his torso explodes. His brain and the rest of his body pelts the platform and the two of us. My eyes widen as I look on in horror. His body stands upright for a moment before it collapses over, a pool of blood pouring out of it. The old wood is now painted in his blood. I slowly turn my gaze back towards the crowd when I hear, "Boom!" Again, a voice is carried on the wind. This time the cloaked individual who stood on the step explodes. The pieces of his body splatter over the crowd, who begin to panic and rush about in absolute chaos. Boom! A building off the side of the square explodes, sending rubble flying in every direction. The chaos from the explosion takes everyone by surprise and causes about half a dozen people to be crushed by the stones sent flying in every direction. What do I do? Why is this happening? This is not some anime. It's not some isekai where I find a harem of hot guys to fawn over me. It's a nightmare and I want out of it. Body parts litter the platform and I'm covered in their blood. I try to pull myself free, but there is nothing I can do. I am locked in and forced to watch as this horror unfolds in front of me. "Stop!" I hear a voice say to my side. I try kicking my legs and swinging my arms in defense, but I fail. All I can do is flail since my hands and head aren't free. "Stop moving for a second," Avis shouts at me over the screaming crowd. I look up at him and he stands over me and turn towards the crowd and nods. Boom! I hear the voice again, but this time the lock explodes on the side of the gallows. Avis quickly opens them and pulls my arms out. I jerk my hand away. "Get away from me, Yura!" I gasp for air. No matter what I do, I can't seem to breathe. "Yura!" I try, but still struggle to fill my lungs with air. "Come with me or take your chances with them." Avis motions towards the crowd, the now chaotic crowd who moments ago was cheering my death. I looked at him and then back to them. I couldn't hold it in any longer. I've been trying since I got here, but I can't. As my vision begins to blur and I stumble backwards, I vomit all over the platform. Avis holds me steady, but for how long, I don't know. My vision begins to go black, and all I could see in my mind was the man exploding next to me. The image kept repeating and repeating until I passed out.